always videotape yourself. All right, so I want to thank Professor Saunders for allowing me to be here in your class, Organizational Behavior, right?
Yes.
And listen, we're going to do something different today. So listen, everybody get up.
Oh boy.
Give a high five to someone else and say that you are great.
You are great.
All right. And then now also take your stuff and move your seats.
Oh. Let's go.
Take your stuff and move your
I
seats.
just sat down, so y'all switch up. I'm sitting here. Y'all was so funny. I'm moving my
Cross
seat
the
too.
room, Sophie, this is the code.
Let's go. Take your stuff, move your seat.
Mr. Kanston, do you want me to erase that board?
Nah, you good, because I'm going to put it over here.
Okay.
That one doesn't count. You're already sitting there. You have to move.
You got to move to a different table.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
Come sit next to me. You could sit next to me.
Cool. And then also, I put on the board my hashtag. If you want to take a picture, if you want to tweet, if you want to get your three notes, it's my hashtag is the Encourager. And if you want to take a picture of me, feel free. You can. Also, you have my name is Karriem Kanston, and I call myself the Encourager. And I'm here to motivate you and inspire you. So, listen, how did it feel to move your seat? How did it feel? Different? Disruptive? I don't want to sit in that seat because somebody else I don't like is sitting in that seat. No, I'm just kidding. Right? So I'm just kidding. So, what did you feel about that movement? How did it feel? Did you want to change when I asked you to move your seat? No, right? You shaking your head like, why? Why?
Because I'm used to a routine.
All right, used to a routine.
I always sit there.
I always sit there, right? That is my seat. And guess what? If I feel uncomfortable, then actually I don't want to feel uncomfortable today. And it's too early. Come on, man. Can we just sit down and leave me alone? So listen, I would talk to you very quickly about leading change. I know you been talking about change, organizational behavior. And so the interesting thing about change is that it is uncomfortable. I don't know if you actually heard of this book called Who Moved My Cheese. Has anybody heard of that book before? Who Moved My Cheese? It was written by Spencer Johnson, all right? Who Moved My Cheese? And I'm going to talk about it a little bit in reference to my presentation about leading change. Leading change. And leading change is very uncomfortable. So there's two graphics up here, two mice and two people, all right? And the two people are little people. And you know, as it relates to this book, as an organization, people don't want to change. The reason why, because they're already comfortable. And so when you're talking about organizational change, just like I did, and I said to you all, can you please do something different? I don't know if I want to do anything different. So just like an organization, the same thing. If I was the CEO of my organization and I went to my people and said to them, listen, guess what? Everyone has a single office. The doors are shut. Guess what we're going to do tomorrow? We're knocking out everybody's door, and everybody has to be in an open space. People wouldn't like that because people are used to a routine. And so in Who Moved My Cheese, it talks about things don't necessarily turn out like we planned because when change happens, if we plan something, now it's different. So let me give you an example. I teach in an entrepreneurship training program called 10,000 Small Businesses, where we train small businesses to actually grow. Yesterday we had probably like 15 guests. We had a lot of movement, a lot of things going around. There was a plan. This is the time that we rotate. This is the time that we do this. Here's the minutes, here's the seconds, here's the hours. I went at the last minute and changed and said, we have more time than I expected, so we're gonna take a break earlier. You know what happened? Same thing. I'm uncomfortable. Why did you change the time? What are you doing, Karriem? And so when there's change and people have a plan, it's disruptive. And so we'll talk a little bit about that also. Hopefully we can share these slides. Can we share these slides with everyone too? And so in Who Moved My Cheese, Spencer Johnson talks about mice and he talks about little people. The mice is called Sniff and Scurry, and then the little people are called Him and Ha. Because usually what happens is that Professor Saunders says, listen, we have this actually thing that is due that you have to do. You're like, oh, come on, professor. You're hemming and hawing, right? People are like, nah, I'm not going to say that, right? So, and then the mice actually are people that sniff and scurry, meaning that they seek out new cheese. How many people want to change their life today? Nobody. Come on. Nobody wants to change their life? All right, let me rephrase it this way. Who wants to be successful? All right, there we go. I got you now, right? And so one of the things that we are accustomed as human beings to do is do the user routine, right? I get up in the morning. Usually the first thing I do, I pray, right? That's my routine. If I don't do that, then I get jolted, right? If something happens. Second thing I do, I usually go and, start getting dressed. But if my routine is messed up, right, because there was a change, like, so for instance, we have a 7-month-old child, I know that she's going to wake up between 5 and 5:30, right? So I say, can I wake up at 5, get 15 minutes to do something, but when she wakes up at 5, totally mess up my routine. We don't want to change. So sniff and scurry, they're always looking for the cheese, right? So what images comes to your mind when you look at, a mice and people with their head down? What images comes to your mind? What images come to your mind? Yes?
Mice are energetic.
What? Say it again?
Mice are energetic.
Mice are energetic? All right. Good. Yes?
People are very tired.
The people look very tired, hunched over, right? They don't know what's going on. Guess what? Where are they looking? They're looking down, right? They're not looking forward, right? And so those are some interesting images about the little people. So the story is based on cheese being an opportunity for you to seek out new things, all right? Cheese being an opportunity for you to seek out new things of what can you accomplish. And the maze is where you spend your time and focus, all right? Where you spend your time and focus. So you're in a maze of college. That's where you're focused right now, right? What do you want to do after college? Just one or two people tell me. What do you want to do after college? After you get your degree, after you went through classes, what do you want to do? How about in the back, with the glasses over there? You get and a ribbon in your head. Yes.
I want to get a residency in the hospital.
You want to get a residency in a hospital, all right? So that's your goal, right? And so right now you're in a maze of college, learning to get to that point, and then you'll be in a maze of being in a hospital, all right? And so cheese is what you want to accomplish, and the maze is where you are now. So here are some differences between mice and the little people they talk about. So mice are simplistic thinkers, they use instinct, and little people are complex thinkers and they use reason. All right? And so one of the interesting things that I tell people, so usually I deal with business owners, entrepreneurs that are looking to grow their business, and usually we're dealing also with life things. All right? And so one of the things that I like about entrepreneurs, they use their instinct. I know I have a company that I usually do consulting work with, and they say, Karriem, you know what? I want to do a lot of stuff in Massachusetts. I'm like, man, you crazy. Stay here in Rhode Island. They was like, nope, I want to go north. I'm like, why do you want to go north when you have so much business here? They kept on saying it to me. I was helping them to put the process together. And guess what? I helped them to actually win a contract in Massachusetts to recycle mattresses, and they actually increased their revenue by $1 million. I didn't understand what that person was saying, but they had instinct, right? They just didn't actually, ignore the changes around them. So in an organization, and I've coached people in organizations, trained people, was a supervisor myself, is that if you ignore the change, you will become extinct. All right? So you might want to write that down, take a note. If you ignore change, you will become extinct. All right? And when you get into your career, when you get into your passion, if you ignore the change, you will become extinct. So for instance, what does everyone walk around with in their pocket usually? On their hip. Cell phone, right? And how many people said to themselves, there would not be a personal computer on my body, ever. And then guess what? Many years later, they came up with a cell phone. Now your cell phone is really, it's a personal computer. A couple years ago, I did my taxes on my cell phone. Usually people would do it on a laptop or a personal computer, but listen, your cell phone is a phone, but really it's a personal computer. So just look at the change, and people have become extinct. Have you ever seen somebody, they say, can you please show me how to take a picture on my phone? Right? Because they became extinct. So feedback about that, right? Feedback. Who wants to be a mice and who wants to be a little people? Anybody want to be a mice? Not literally be a mice, but right? But just based on the characteristics. And so those are a little about the little people. So no cheese. When there's no more cheese, the mice do not come out. I don't know if you've seen a mouse before. Probably, hopefully everybody's seen one. If not, you saw a picture of one. Usually if there's no food for mice, they don't come out. But when there's food, you see them all the time. So life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. 90% of what you react to it. And the reason why that's so important is that you have dreams, right? As people, as college students, you have things you want to do, but it's how you react. How do you react to the challenges? How do you persevere? How do you make it through when something happens that you didn't think was going to happen? Because life happens, right? If you're breathing every single day, something's going to happen, right? You thought today it was going to work out this way, but it didn't happen, right? So can I tell you a story, quick story about being in college? Yes? All right. You always have to ask people, can you tell a story? Because they might not want to hear your story, right? So if you said to me, I don't want to hear your story, I'm going to keep on going and talking about this. So let me tell you a story. So I went to Transformational University to get a business degree, and I arrived on campus. The day before, first day of school, I get a call saying, Karriem, it's from my parents, I cannot help you pay for college. I told you I was going to help you, but it's not going to happen. Listen, I was totally thrown off by that phone call. I was upset. I didn't know what I was going to do, right? I was angry. I was like, listen, I got this high, just went to all these great fairs and great things, right? I'm on campus, about to start school, and then deflated, and then maybe you have to leave school. So after I got off the phone, I said, listen, I'm here. I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure I stay here and get a degree. And guess what? It is what it is, but I know that I have a plan that I want to reach. So I stayed in college, worked probably 2-3 jobs to actually pay for some of my college and get some student loans. So I finished college, right? I got 3 degrees. I got an associate's in entrepreneurship, a bachelor's in business management, and a master's in teacher education. So listen, if I allow my circumstance and react and say, listen, it's time to give up, that's my problem. That's my 90%. So how you react to something is based on what you're going to receive. All right? Comments about that? Questions? Did you like that story? Was it too tough for anybody? No? So listen, I tell you as college students, usually people say, I was in your seat before. Listen, I don't know your life. I'm not living your life. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what you're going through currently. I don't know what you're going to go through. But let me tell you something. The reason why I had you do that activity and the reason why I say, listen, you are great, because people need to hear that every single day. Every single day when I wake up, I say, listen, Karriem, this is going to be a great day. And when something happens during the day, I say, Karriem, it's going to be a great day. Because things happen, right? Things happen, right? And so just like I got that phone call right before I was going to start school, I still get phone calls and people say, listen, Karriem, this is the situation. This is the issue. And then I have to think about how do I react to it. All right? Can I tell you another story? All right, cool. I love it. You all say yes. So this is a story that just happened. So last week, had a meeting with my team, right? Meet with the team. One of my team members says, you messed up. What are you doing? I mean, that loud. I mean, lost it. guess what I did? I listened. So in an organization, if you're a leader, and we're talking about leading change, you have to listen to your people. And then I said, listen, thank you very much for giving me that feedback. The person was like, what? Huh? This guy that screamed back at me? This person then lay into me, even though they have some authority over me. I said, listen, thank you for that feedback, because feedback is important. Even though we talked about the situation, days before, thank you for the feedback. You know why? Because listen, 90% of what happens to you is about reaction. I could have said, listen, this is what I'm doing. I don't care what you have to say. We're moving forward this way. But listen, you know what I need? I need that person to actually be a part of the team and do what they need to do to help out business owners to be effective. Yes, it was friction. Yes, I walked away upset, right? Driving away from the meeting, I was like, I can't believe this. But I said to myself, if I allowed myself to actually get to a level where I was screaming at another person, then I'm not being effective at what I do. I want to change that person, right? I want to change them to think the way I think, not to get so upset that you can't actually talk to someone on a good level, all right? So remember that. It's how you react to things. All right, so how do you get out of a cheeseless situation, right? How do you get out of a situation that's just not working out for you? You got to accept what's happening, right? What is the facts? What's going on? And you also have to reflect on your source, right? There's always been cheese. There's always going to be people that's going to say to you, you're not going to do this, you can't do that. Just look at Microsoft, right? Just look at Google. Look at Facebook, even though Facebook is having some issues right now, right? People are going to say you can't do something, all right? I have a question for you all. Has anyone ever said that you couldn't do something and you're doing it right now? Yes. All right. Would you like to share?
Yeah, I'm also an entrepreneur.
All right.
There's a lot of naysayers, but I'm just...
Oh yeah, people are you crazy? You're gonna start your own business? That's a lot of risk. But guess what? If you have one job or one paycheck and that job goes away, that is a whole lot of risk. But if you have a couple of streams of income, then actually if one goes away, then maybe another one could take care of that income. So I hear you. Anyone else want to share?
Did you have your hand up? Sorry.
They say it. No? All right, cool. So listen, so this is, the journey is amazing, right? So the journey is as important as the destination. So the journey of going through college for me was a great, amazing thing. I met a lot of people. I had many faculty members pour into my life. I met many types of people I would have never met before. And so listen, I had a great time. So as you proceed, find new cheese. Every time something's happening in your life, and especially in your career, always be looking for other opportunities. All right? Always be looking for other opportunities. Because just like a job was created, a job will go away, and a business will go away. So always look for new cheese. All right? Questions, comments that people might have. You want me to have you change your seats again? No, all right. All right.
They may have questions after the second speaker as well. So.
All right, cool. So change can be positive. This is a good thing. And so no one admits they fear change, but think everyone around them does. Right? People fear change. People fear that what's going to happen if change happens to me. And so does anybody know usually what the acronym is for fear? No? Yes.
False evidence appearing real.
False evidence appearing real. That's what fear. Because usually fear gets us because we don't think that we can do something. But guess what? When you were a little kid, and I have a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old, the 2-year-old thinks they could jump from any place, right? Bless you. They think that they could grab anything they want, eat anything they want. They have no fear, right? We say, oh, wait, what are you doing? Don't climb up there. They have no fear because they keep on saying, listen, I can actually overcome this. So overcome things in your life, all right, and make movement. And so these are some things that, the book talks about. Change happens, right? Change does happen, so keep on moving. anticipate change. You always have to anticipate change and get ready for the cheese to move, and you also have to monitor change. And so organizations that are effective, they monitor the change. So for instance, does anybody know this toy store that is going out of business? Called Toys R Us, right? The change was coming. Retail is changing. People are not going into stores like they used to. People are buying online, right? A lot. And then so you got to monitor the change, and you have to adapt to the change. All right, you have to adapt to the change, and usually sometimes based on your industry, very quickly you have to adapt. All right. So here are some things you can write down in reference to this. This is some characteristics I've seen of leaders that are very transformative. They are charismatic. They are visionary. They have a sense of mission and purpose. And really, they understand people. They're respectful. They're confident, and they're very loyal. All right? Very confident, and they're very loyal. So also feel free, if you all, like I said before, you all want to tweet or something, you can put hashtag the encourager. All right? So thank you for listening to that. This is my little bio I put together. I own my own consulting business called Kanston Development, where I help businesses grow and be strategic about their revenue. I also was a former business banking lender where I help businesses get financing to start up and grow their business. And as you can see, the last bullet point says, I'm an actioneer, meaning that I'm all about action. So if you come to me and you say to me, Karriem, I have this great idea and I want to put it into action, I'm going to say to you, let's put a date down and let's make it happen. All right? Because ideas are ideas until you actually put them into action, then they become reality. All right? So questions that people might have. How many more minutes I have left? None. 0. All right, cool.
But we're
So,
gonna come back.
Islam
No,
D's gonna be
questions,
next,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
we'll take questions after that.
Take the question. I think Abdul had a question.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
It's okay, I can wait.
Ask your question.
Ask your question. One question, and then we'll.
When you were describing the characteristics of mice and little people, you mentioned that mice use instincts, but little people use reason. And I just wanted to ask, why do you think that using instincts is more ambitious or can lead to higher success than using reason?
Because usually what happens, and I'm going to talk about myself, so I won't say it about anybody else, is that we as human beings look at a situation, especially when we get a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience about life. And then we look at a situation and say, you know what, I can't do this because I've seen this person fail, right? I've seen my father or my mother open up a business, so I'm not going to do it because I don't want to take the risk, and so I reason at it. Mice are instinct. They go mostly by their nose, they smell, right? Usually they can't see very well. So they are sniffing out and trying to smell out the opportunity where we're actually looking at it like, that doesn't make any sense. Or the risk is too great and I don't want to lose, I don't want to fail. Listen, a college president, I love what he said last year when he was speaking. He says, the goal of my university is to make sure college students fail very quickly and a lot because they learn quicker. Because if you don't fail, you're not going to learn. Right? If we're always just running theory, running, data analytical, and we say, well, based on the data, we shouldn't do this. Well, you haven't done it, so you haven't tried it. But once you try it, and it works out or it doesn't work out, then you learn from it. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you.
All right? So thank you all very much, and we'll take one more question.
It's not like a question, but can you give an example of like a transformational leader for you, or like a story of someone that fits the characteristics that you chose before?
A story about a transformational leader. All right, so one that comes to my mind because there's been so much information about him in the news and on video, and January, February talks about was Martin Luther King, right? Transformational leader. He started, getting into the spotlight when he was in his 20s, right? When he was 20-something years old. So you are probably some people are here in your 20s. Don't think just because that you're a young person doesn't mean that you can't affect change. So he knew that he would actually say something and do something that his life was going to be on the line. A transformational leader, as you look back here, I said they have a mission and they have a purpose, and they're loyal. They're loyal to that mission. When you're loyal to give up your life for a cause, that's huge commitment. I don't know a lot of people that will go into a fight or a cause knowing that they will lose their life. Right? A lot of people walk away from that. Right? A lot of people shy away from it. And so, you know, as a transformational leader, that means you have to be committed, you have to be dedicated, and that means that you're going to have to accept huge risk. But also you get huge rewards. So thank you for that question. All right. Next, I'm done until the end. All right. Thank you. You up?
No need.
Oh, okay.
How do I top that, right? I regret telling
Told
you
you to go first.
I know, right? I'm not that awesome. But here's what we're going to do. You guys are going to hate me because you have to stand up again. Come on, make it quick. I know you guys have this class every Friday and Tuesday at 8 a.m., so I'm not going to be tired now. So I'm going to be shuffling you back and forth